Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, strong to severe storms are possible across Kentucky as we head into Derby and Mother's Day weekend. So we've declared a severe weather alert day. Meteorologist Evan Hatter has more on the timing and what to expect. Evan?
That's right, Steve. Now, I do want to make clear this is mainly for tomorrow versus tonight, though we could see a few showers and thunderstorms a little bit later on here on our Thursday evening. As for right now, we're all quiet, but clouds continue to increase. I-64 at Moorhead, you see the increase in cloud cover working into the region. Same thing right now into downtown Whitesburg, where we've got clouds on the way, but still plenty of sunshine at this hour. It's warm. Upper 70s. Dew points still a little low if we're looking for severe weather in the mid-50s, but they're getting there. Temperatures around the region, mid-70s, places like Irving, Jackson, and Hazard. You go down into the Cumberland Valley, it's warmer though, low 80s. Williamsburg, Monticello. Monticello is our warm spot right now at 82, but look to the north where we're only 72 in Moorhead. We are all clear across eastern Kentucky right now. A few showers up in the northern part of the bluegrass, but you see that yellow outline to some of those counties to our west. That is a severe thunderstorm watch in effect for the Bowling Green metro area and points to the south down toward Nashville. They're dealing with strong to severe thunderstorms right now across the deep south and even into parts of the Mississippi Valley. You see tornado watches and warnings in effect as you head further south into Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. It's this whole system. It's headed our way as we head into tomorrow. So that's something we need to keep a very close eye on. Keep that WYMT Weather App handy as we run through the nighttime hours tonight as we slowly fall through the 60s and increase the chance for showers and thunderstorms as we head toward the morning hours. I'll have the very latest on when we could see those storms move in and what the main threats are coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. The sale of Kentucky Power to Liberty Utilities was approved yesterday by the Kentucky Public Service Commission. WYMT's Dakota Makris met with members of the Mountain Caucus to talk about the deal and what it means for eastern Kentucky.
Late last year, Liberty Utilities made the announcement to buy Kentucky Power and AEP Kentucky Transmission Company in a nearly $3 billion deal. Representative Angie Hatton says she believes Liberty overpaid for AEP, adding she still has some reservations about the sale and the company's practices.
While the sale was approved, we have some concerns about Liberty Utilities. We are concerned that they have an intense focus on green energy and that maybe that's not right for the future of eastern Kentucky.
The sale has conditions. A news release from the Public Service Commission stated a $30 million payment will be distributed among Kentucky Power customers to make up for continued subsidization of activities with other AEP affiliates.
There was an additional $43 million that is a direct consumer refund due to underinvestment in the distribution system in Kentucky. So it was definitely a reprimand of AEP and their practices here.
In a statement to WYMT, a Kentucky Power spokesperson said, in part, quote, AEP is reviewing the details of the order and the additional conditions it contains. Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
Tonight at 6, we'll hear from both Representative Angie Hatton and State Senator Brandon Smith on the sale of Kentucky Power. Smith told us he hopes for a smooth transition between AEP and Liberty Utilities and that it does not come at the expense of ratepayers. Well, today is the annual National Day of Prayer, and Eastern Kentuckians are recognizing the tradition from Barberville to Pikeville. At noon in Pikeville at the city park, people of all faiths gathered to offer prayer. In keeping with the tradition of the day, members of the government, the military, the business community, and other public institutions were recognized by faith leaders from the Big Sandy.
A visible witness to the community of people coming together to pray for a common purpose and a common cause and things that are concerns on all of our hearts.
National Day of Prayer events are happening across the mountains. We'll take you live to a gathering in Hazard tonight at 6. After more than 5 decades, a Southern Kentucky drive-in is closing, at least for now. The owner of the 27 drive-in in Somerset says it's just not possible to keep the unique outdoor theater open. WYMT's Phil Pendleton spoke to her and others who have many years of memories at the attraction.
Many people were very disappointed when they learned that this unique outdoor drive-in was not going to reopen. There are twin screens 2 screens, a choice to watch whatever movie that you want to here at this establishment. They would not be reopening for their 54th season, but the owner tells me over the telephone that it simply was not possible to operate anymore. Brenda Roden and her family operated the Landmark Drive-In since 1967, but in recent years it just became too difficult to keep the 2-screen facility open. She says the drive-in was her family's life for so many years. She said she didn't make the decision to close this year to make anyone mad, but she had to close it because of her health and because times have changed. She said this decision was extremely difficult, but some say they are willing to do whatever they can to reopen it.
From what I saw, I believe people would be willing to do community-wide fundraisers for this. And with all the cool events we have going on downtown in Somerset, I'm sure, someone could come up with having a booth to donate money towards this.
Brenda Roden tells me that she will keep the grounds up, the grass will stay mowed, and that really no decision as far as the future has been made. In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Drive-ins are a dying breed in Kentucky. Driveinmovie.com reports there are only 7 left in the entire state. Let's head over to Wall Street now on this Thursday. A brutal drop as the Dow closes down more than 1,063 points today. We'll have more financial news a little bit later. And productivity for U.S. workers and businesses dropped 7.5% in the first quarter of 2022. It's the biggest decline since 1947. Thursday, the U.S. Labor Department released new data that also reported an 11.6% increase in labor costs. That is a measure of how much businesses pay its workers. It's the biggest jump for labor costs since the summer of 2020. The numbers reveal how competition for workers has pushed up wages. The White House has a plan to replenish the country's emergency oil reserve. The Energy Department is expected to announce a buyback plan where the government would seek bids to buy 60 million barrels of crude oil. It would be the first time since the early 2000s that the Energy Department has acquired large quantities of oil for the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. It's not a quick fix, though. The process will take years, and 60 million barrels will only refill about 1/3 of what was released. Ukrainian forces continue to hold on in the southern port city of Mariupol. Russian forces are bombarding the steel plant where Ukrainian troops are still holding on, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says many civilians and wounded forces remain. Some will need to be dug out from underground bunkers by hand. The United Nations is currently assisting with evacuation efforts while working with the Red Cross to get another evacuation convoy there by Friday.
We do hope that this operation will continue and that we will be able to evacuate other numbers of civilians.
Some women, children, and the elderly made it to Ukrainian safe zones before Ukrainian officials say Russia violated the promise of a ceasefire. A European official tells CBS News Russian forces have not progressed very far on the ground in Ukraine ahead of May 9th Victory Day celebrations, which marked the Soviet Union's defeat of Nazi Germany. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is making a lot of countries rethink their security. As a result, the U.S. may get 2 new military allies as early as this summer, as Finland and Sweden race to protect themselves. More than 100 U.S. troops are training with NATO allies in Finland this week, a show of strength to neighboring Russia. But Sweden and Finland are not part of NATO and wouldn't be protected if Moscow chose to invade them next. That's why both countries are considering a NATO bid sooner rather than later.
I think it's everybody's interest that different countries would move as fast as possible. That would be the best security guarantee that we could have.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken says the U.S. backs their membership, but the Kremlin warns if the Nordic nations join NATO, Moscow will move their nukes closer to Finland's border. Sweden and Finland say if they join, they'll do it together, a decision that could come as early as next week. When we return on First at 4, a Yankees fan and a Blue Jays fan walked into a stadium to meet the Yankee slugger whose home run brought the duo together.
And stormy weather looks to work back into the forecast as we finish out the work week and head into the weekend. Full breakdown and that Derby forecast straight ahead.